Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a quick video for you just showing you my system, my rules, and some tips I have. This strategy's gotten me funded 100K on Topstep, so 250K evals passed, and now I have the express funded accounts that I'm trading. So I hope you guys can take something away from this video. Let's get started. So my system is, like I've said in previous videos, I mark out the high and the low of the first 15 minutes of market open. So from 9:30 to 9:45, I mark out the high and the low. So I'll show you that. I'll show you all on the chart, everything here. So we're gonna wait for a solid candle close outside of the range. I don't want like a little candle closure, like a quarter of a point. It needs to be at least 3, 4, 5 points outside. It needs to look like a solid close outside. And assuming no news or you've waited until after 10 a.m. news, we wait for a pullback candle. So at least one candle. And your entry is going to be once price breaks past the high for longs or the low for sells. And I'll show you that just like in the previous videos. And you will only target 20 points for your take profit and have a 20-point stop loss. So before I get into tips and rules, let me just show you what this looks like. So here we have NASDAQ on, we have NQ on Tuesday, April 22nd. So we took a win this day. So let me show you what I'm looking for. Basically right here, this is the 9:30 candle. So from 9:30 to 9:45, I want to mark out the low of that range and the high of that range. So the low was this 9:35 candle. So I marked that out. And then the high was of this 9:45 candle. So right here. So this is our range. I want price to break past above or below the high and the low. So in this case, we got to break above, and you see how this candle really closes above here. Not, let's say, I don't know, like this was a candle closure above. I need something better than this. This is too little. I want something like this, that it very clearly closes above. So this day, let's see, April 22nd, we need to check if there's news at 10. So April 22nd, there was no news at 10. There was this at 9:59. I guess this was at 10, yeah. So we're going to wait until 10 o'clock. We don't want to trade before. You could win, but you could also lose more likely than not. So it's just best to wait. So once we get our candle closure, the next part of our system is we're waiting after 10 a.m. news, and we need a pullback candle, at least one candle. So here we get a few pullback candles, so we're going up, so we're looking for longs since it's broke to the upside. We have our pullback right here. So I like to mark it out. You don't need to mark it out, but I just like having something visual. So we're coming down. Once price breaks past the high, that's when I want to get in. So what I mean by that is we have like this up close candle and the down close candle. The high of this wick right here. Once price breaks past this, I want to get in. So I take the long tool and we'll put it like when it's live, it's kind of hard to get it right here at the high, but you want to let's just give it some leeway. Let's say we get in like right here, and we're going to target 20 points. We have a 20-point stop loss, 20-point take profit. This chart is, I guess, a little different from Topstep because if you go back into the video, it very nearly stops me out, and then we have this huge candle come up. So I'm just going to move it down for the sake of the video, but we get in once price breaks past the high here, and we target 20 points. So yeah, like here, this would have gotten really close to stop loss, and in the recording, it gets something like this. It looks something like this, like it very gets really close to the stop loss. But yeah, it comes up here, and yeah, we target 20 points. So what are some tips I have? So if you notice consolidation, a big move is likely coming, and you'll notice that a lot. Whenever price starts to chop up, it's going to have a big move. So what does that look like? I want to say like at least 4 or 5 candles that look like this right here. So I mark it out always with the rectangle tool, just like that. So you notice it's just chopping up in this range. You want a solid candle closure out of that range before you take a buy. So let's say like this was already outside of the range. Let's say it was just like that. You don't want to get in on any of this. You want a candle closure outside, and then you have your pullback, and then you get in. You don't want to get in on the consolidation. Trust me, you'll save yourself from a lot of losses. The next tip I have is once price is about 3/4 of the way to your take profit, and you know I like to do this, go break even. More likely than not, it will never go break even. Sometimes it does, and you just got to be vigilant for that, and you could take another setup, but that goes into the rules, so I'll get back to that. Yeah, once price is like up here, let's say, you can go break even, because if it does come back down, then you're going to save yourself from a loss. So it's just best to go break even and hope it doesn't come back down, which it usually doesn't. And you'll notice in a live market, the momentum carries the candles, and you'll know that it's not going to come back. Like it starts to spike up, and you'll notice when you can go break even. So the last tip I have is if price broke out of the 15-minute range, and this happened in one of my previous videos, you can go back. If it breaks out of the 15-minute range, but you're still waiting for 10 a.m. news, don't get FOMO, just wait, because if you get in, and I always say that I sound like a broken record when I say this, if you get in for a buy, let's say, what's stopping, like if this is you're getting in right here, what's stopping the next candle from just dumping and going to your stop loss and then going back up? That's why it's best to just wait for the pullback and then get in, because you don't want to hit buy or sell and then you get stopped out and then price goes in your direction. Just wait. If you don't get an entry, then just wait for the next day. Like the market's always going to be there, and with this system, a lot of entries present themselves. So just don't get FOMO and just wait. So let's go to my rules now. No trading before 10 a.m. news. This is pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes, most of the time, the market likes to chop around before news. So you want to just wait for the news to come up, because most likely the volatility is going to come in after the news comes out, and you don't want to get stuck in consolidation beforehand. Now, there's a lot of instances where you could win. I personally don't like to trade before news. Even if it's a win, I'll just wait until after news. And no entering off the 10 a.m. candle. One of my previous videos, I enter on the 10 a.m. candle, and quite literally in 2 seconds, I lose the trade. So that's pretty self-explanatory. The 10 a.m. candle, even if there's no news, opens up like with crazy volatility. Now, if there's no 10 a.m. news, I didn't write this down. If there's no 10 a.m. news, you can very likely trade before 10 a.m. Just if you're cutting it close, make sure you're break even before 10 a.m. Like if you're at 9:59, go break even. Hopefully you are in profit, because once the 10 a.m. candle opens, it can shoot to your stop loss in not even half a second. You wouldn't even notice, and you just lose. Your account is red. So don't do that. So max 2 trades a day. I don't want to trade more. I don't want to trade more than once, honestly. Especially if it's a win or a loss, just lock your account right after. But if you get stopped out break even on the first trade and it's still trending in the direction that you got in, like if it's still trending up but you got stopped out at break even, you can go in for another entry. Just be careful. But yeah, max 2 trades, and win or lose, if you win the full amount, just lock your account. Like there's no point in trading anymore. You could just lose all your stuff. Like you can turn a winning day into either a break even day or a loss. So if you take a win, lock your account. If you lose, lock your account, because the same way with a win, with a loss, you can turn it into a break even trade, or you could turn it into even deeper negative. So it's best to just not trade. Just lock your account. Um, no trading on NFP or FOMC days. The market's very volatile, and I misspoke on Friday. I said that we have 5 trading days this week. We have 4 because Friday is NFP. I won't be trading. I'll just make a practice trade video on that day. I'd rather just not risk it. And FOMC is just super choppy up until 2 p.m. when the FOMC statement comes out. So it's just best not to trade that day either. And stop trading at 11 a.m. if no entries are presented. We're trading basically from 9:30 to 11 a.m. And if you want to get even deeper, even more technical, from 9:45 or 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're not trying to trade past that because that's like the Wild West territory. So just keep it simple. Even as traders, we don't want to be in front of the charts all day. You go crazy. Just trade until 11, and it helps because once you step away from the market and you know you can't trade anymore that day, you're not going to force a trade setup. And it's best, like, no trade is better than a losing trade. So that's something you should drill into your head. If you don't take a trade, it's still a win. So I think that's probably the most important, because before I would try to catch a setup all day, and that's just not good practice. As a trader, you want time freedom. Why are you in front of the charts for 8 hours? If you're trying to get out of your 9 to 5, why are you replacing that 9 to 5 now with 9 to 5 on the chart? Just trade for the 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and that's it. You can find a setup, most likely. There's some days, yeah, like it's you just don't get an entry, but this strategy, you can really find a lot of setups every day. And that's something I like about it, because you don't want a strategy that you can only find 1 to 2 entries a week. You want something that you can consistently make money with. And no financial advice, but this strategy has a high win rate on my end. So I hope this video helps you guys out, at least to understand what my thought process is in the live trades. And I hope you can take something away from it and maybe implement this strategy. It's super simple. We're not waiting for a million confluences. There's no indicators. I know I had indicators in my first couple of videos, but there's no more indicators. Like here, I was using like this opening range breakout. This I don't even use. Like, I didn't even know. I couldn't even learn how to use it. VWAP, EMA, pivots. We don't use any of that, so don't even worry. So yeah, I hope you guys can take something away from this video, and leave a comment if you need any more clarification. Thank you for watching.